this is what we're working with. Okay, bro, you know there's a bathroom over there, right? Duplicants have died. How did you get down there, Bert? Rowan! Ah! I think this bar is his auction. Go, 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 go! I don't know how you survived. And that is a lot more red than I would like to see. Expand the stables to give us our fourth and final one. Does it have calories? One way to find out. Oh, he did. Did we actually manage to do this? There we go. There it is. We got carnivore on the last possible day. Meatball, how did you get up there? Oh my lord. Heat is an issue that can't be pushed off any longer because our food has already keeled over, and that is a problem. The flow was continuous, and looking at the heat gradient no longer filled me with dread. You can see the blips of yellow or green in the very heart of the heat death cloud. So the base was on the mend. Now that you're all caught up with what happened last time, here's a sneak peek of what to look forward to in this 250-day video. What? How did you get in there? Okay, Meemaw, get out of there. Get out of there. Oh, shoot. Somebody save Meemaw? This volcano looks like it's about to blow. Rowan, get out of there. At the start of our next 250 days, we were immediately faced with the problem of food shortages and the dupes being extremely stressed. Well, looking at today's stress, sopping wet is the main thing that's making her unhappy, which is due to the atmosuit ports being disabled so that the dupes could complete the cooling system faster. So now that that's built, we can re-enable them so that they don't get wet while going through our water airlock. So we have one massage table up, which is helping Meemaw marginally. Oh shoot, but it's also the fact that we don't have meat coming in readily, because the meat gives a morale boost. So everybody's about to be anxious. That actually works in our favor. If we can solve the food problem, aka taking out any animal we see, hopefully that means that the stress problem is also solved. Okay, there's 7 people attacking this poor hatch. Sorry, little sage hatch, you gotta go as well. It's not personal, it's just we need food. And that food happens to be you. So essentially we're just trying to live off the land in a hope that it's enough resources until our hatches get up and running again. Here's a few more up here by our base, so we can set those to auto harvest. May as well uproot the mirth leaves, because I think if I can increase the overall decor of the base, that would also help aid us in decreasing stress. And since our temperature is getting under control, I feel more positive about planting decorative plants because they require a specific temperature. This mirth leaf here, it is best at 20 to 50 degrees C, and if I can't maintain that temperature, we have bigger problems. We have the squad rolling out, digging up the tunnels to access the goods. Tavaldo's on the scene as usual, freaking legend. We got Rin down here, and also Lindsay. And I just found some hatches being put in the Dracu container, so do not mind if I do. Meemaw's on the case. She's taking out her stress on this poor little hatch, who can apparently bite her through a door. And there's 6,400 kilocalories, so we should be able to limp along a little bit further. And I'm a little interested in seeing what our food stat is like. So we went from producing 34,000 kilocalories per cycle to 9,000 kilocalories. Yikes. Oh, and we were consuming every bit of that. So optimistically by cycle 257, we should be getting out of this. We have Ashcan as our currently most stressed person. He's hungry, stressed, and low morale. And he's holding his breath. Assuming the worst happens and he does his stress response, what is the worst we can expect? He is a binge eater. Okay, that can ruin everything. Can I put Ashcan in like containment or something? Okay, now we're assigning him to the massage table because this can really topple our entire colony. So Ashcan's assigned, and he needs to. Oh, he's already binge eating. Ashcan, get. Oh no, he's doing it. He's doing the thing. No, bad. Jeez. Well, insatiable hunger apparently caps out at 4,000 kilocalories per cycle, but if you went to go sleep, you'd be feeling a lot better. At least the lack of oxygen down here is kind of shooing them away from the refrigerator. Ashcan, stop eating. We need those. Okay, so apparently we're fighting against Ashcan trying to destroy our colony through eating all our food. Meemaw, what's your stress response? She is a vomiter. Meemaw, talk sense into him. Where are you going? Ashcan, I'm commanding you to move to the massage table. Is he going? Oh, he's moving. Okay, now do the thing, you know, where you use it. No, what are you doing? I need to lock Ashcan in this room. That's the moral of the story. Ashcan, you're hurting yourself. No, don't. Okay, he single-handedly ate 20,000 kilocalories. Are you finally done eating all our food? Okay, it only took 25 kilocalories. Oh, are you gonna go calm yourself down like I told you to? What? His stress is down to 60? Bro, you just need a massage. Okay, Ashcan, you're now the least favorite duplicate. Congratulations. Bert, you've been promoted. You're now the third least favorite duplicate. One more spot and you won't be the least favorite at all. Devin, you're second. So despite his destructive eating disorder, it seems like everybody else is going ham in the food collection and we're kind of doing okay. And I did neglect to put an atmosuit port at the very top, so everybody's getting wet once again. But we can fix that real quick by putting in some atmosuits. There you go, Bert. Boogie down. Decrease that stress. That's what we like to see. Ooh, Lindsay has some of that sleep wheat. Let's go. Calories are currently keeping up, and Liam is a mad lad cooking away. Oh, well, crap. It appears her Pokeshell might have killed all the Paku. He is elderly and looking fairly angry. He's protecting... Oh, probably Oh, I'm guessing they're protecting their egg. So he killed all of them. Well, they didn't give much food anyway, so I guess this will be a Pokeshell enclosure. He enjoyed the 5 million germs in there. All you though, bud. You protected it. In the meantime, it is time for all the decor. Hanging pots everywhere. I can make diamond arrow pots, and they give plus 100% decor at a radius of 4. Oh yeah, this is going in every single room. Some in the bedroom. Ooh, in the dining hall, there we go. Some in the kitchen. Heck, even some at the bottom of the base where it's completely inhospitable to breathing, but it'll look pretty. To fix the oxygen problem I'm talking about, it's because there's a backup in the storage. So I guess we'll just have to put a few more storage hoppers because I honestly have no idea when the problem is going to be fixed in terms of getting super sustainable so we can actually do something other than hamster wheels everywhere, energy-wise. And natural gas will be so extremely useful. With the pots slowly getting put up, let's decide what plants to put. Now, how do I have 6.999992 buddy seeds? You know what? I'm not going to question it. Okay, the last of the pipes are being constructed for the natural gas storage. And we're back to filtering the air out. So now all this should hopefully go down so they're not eating in pure natural gas. Because I know Liam's not a fan of that, even though he's the cause of it. In the meantime, while that's happening, I'm doing an expansion. I'm going to add a few more ranches. Because I have plans for energy production that I can do without super sustainable being unlocked. Well, there's a cute little guy. Your dad was a little bit of a problem. Let's hope that you're not. Okay, now we've ran into a slight oxygen problem. It can't filter the hydrogen fast enough because we're not eating it up quite quick enough, which that's a good problem to have, and I will gladly solve it this way. Oh, and we just got super sustainable. And our food famine is also over. We're at 40,000 kilocalories. Anyway, let's not get distracted. The idea is to put a hydrogen generator on this side, have the excess flow into it, and provide power to our aqua tuner. Because currently, it's not keeping up the best with our current setup, just fueled by 3 of the hamster wheels. So now between the 2 of these, we should be consuming enough. And it's also powering the aqua tuner, so that's bound to soak up a lot of the power. And another new development is all of the plants are perfectly put in may not be the most happy with the temperature, but the plants are in all throughout the base, and our decor score is a lot better. So our dupes should be overall happier. So now that food is solved, stress is solved, and energy is solved, oxygen is not the best, but for once in this colony, it's not immediate life or death. Oh, and also temperature. That looks crazy good. So I guess the next plan of action is I want to completely insulate my base from the environment. I want to keep all this cooling in so that we're a closed system and we can regulate the temperature better. So that means taking our insulation tile with igneous rock and replacing the entirety of the border with insulation, because it's easier to control our base as a closed system than if it were open to the environment. And our clog here is also solved, but since we're running low on water, we need to deconstruct our pump here and relocate it right here. And I should probably take that fish out. And you know what? We'll get rid of the critter drop here, wrangle that guy, and my change of plans is all, instead of the creature I wanted to put in this stable, put poke shells in it, because I'd like to get Paku back and thriving in the space. And apparently everybody's stress levels are, well, okay, Mimo had to prove me wrong, but they were all 0. Oh geez, oxygen is not good. Everywhere is barely breathable. I spoke too soon, everything was going too well, I knew it. So we'll just have to enable our oxygen diffusers again. Looks like they finally brought the Pokeshell into the stable area. So now, before this guy is evicted from his home, and he dropped right into our storage room. In an attempt to help the oxygen problem, over by the stables I add the 3 separate rooms. Underneath, I have the surfaces so that they slant downward and lead towards our carbon disposal unit, or also, well, one of our slicksters died, but it'll come down here, slicksters will eat the carbon, and the natural gas will be swept up into our storage, which already has one full. With this simple addition of the oxygen diffusers, it seems our base is already oxygen positive. Oh, and we have 41,000 igneous rocks, so we can also finish our construction of the insulated tiles around the rest of our base. We are now funneling all the carbon and natural gas effectively. Only thing is we're lacking oxygen, so everything else is good. Food, morale, and even temperature is doing pretty decent. I think literally the only thing our colony is not doing good on is power. Everything else is automated and ready to go for a self-sustained colony. The only thing that isn't automated is power. We have wheels here, a wheel down here, wheels here. We have way too many wheels. That's just the short of it. So I'm gonna ignore my ranching goals for now, because power is what we need to do. Red is not good, because your wires break, and when wires break, things aren't powered. First and foremost, let's dig out our area where our power generation will go, including where the vent is at, and encase it entirely in insulated block. Is there any reason? No, I just feel like that's the right thing to do. Okay, we've reached the containment area. Oh, that is a bunch of natural gas. Could cause a problem. Well, they look like they're doing all right. Oh, except for me, my falling there. Connect up the electricity to the gas vents, along with some vent pipes. Okay, they're going ham. All of them are on the case. Stinky, this should suit you the most. It is literally in your name. Yeah, he's killing it out here. While it's open, we may as well analyze it. So if we want to activate it manually through our geotuner, we can have that access. There you go, Rowan. Ooh, this is going a little slow. Who's entombed? How did you entomb yourself? Okay. Can we deconstruct faster? People, helper. Nobody's helping? Okay, cancel all other build operations. Rowan, do you not see Camille suffocating up here? Don't give a thumbs up, help the person. Okay, yellow alert, top priority. No! Well, that was quite unfortunate. Luckily, this is the Phoenix Project, where death is not permanent. At worst, it's just a bad nightmare. See? She's perfectly fine now. It was just a nightmare. We had foresight of what not to do. Rowan, you saw nothing. Fleeing? Wait, what? Oh, what? Oh, shoot. Okay, get out of there. He is angry because there's an egg. And we are locking this door. Nobody enters. Somebody lock the door, please. Can we lock the door with a big scary shell creature behind it? Lyra? Oh, they locked her in here with him. I guess we'll just have to build our way out of here. Well, we can plug that back up. And we'll just leave that guy be. We have bigger things to take on. Rowan, you're scalding. Okay, nope, we gotta move him out of there. I appreciate your enthusiasm, Rowan, but you need a suit on. Well, he looks happy. See, that's why he's the captain. Wait, Rowan, how'd you get hurt? Clearly, at the time, I was confused, but considering he was in a room hot enough for third-degree burns, it's pretty obvious why he's in the hospital. Rowan, the freaking legend, had a broken leg the other day and is right back to it. I think he may be able to wrap it up in this session. Oh yeah, of course he can. So we can close this guy all the way up and stop leaking all our good natural gas. And I just noticed this, but our steam turbine is actually producing power. Oh, except the liquid vent is overpressured. That is indeed a problem. And once the last bits of the inside are swept up, I will close this off and finish the construction of our natural gas generators. Bring this pipe to the top and add a vent, because once it's fully closed off, we want to off-gas everything that isn't natural gas, because these will only accept natural gas. Mima, I know you really want to sleep, but she needs oxygen, is the short of it. Okay, good. There's an oxygen patch under there. There's only natural gas in here. So we'll have her dig down, and if you could, like, wake up. There we go, Mima, up and at 'em. If you haven't noticed, you're completely, oh, and she's down dead. You're completely surrounded by natural gas. There we go. There's something we can do. We can deconstruct this wall. Okay, and these are all yellow alert. Do them right now, because Mima does not have time. Pretend that didn't happen. Don't worry, Mima is alive and kicking through the power of the Phoenix Project. Things have gone good for the most part. Natural gas facilities are almost up and running. There's just one hindrance that I figured we should solve together. And this is about to overheat, the aqua tuner. Because it's made of steel, and I believe 200 degrees is where that overheats. And it's not working properly because the liquid vent is overpressured. So my theory is that if we put a deconstruction task on this and we call a guy over to deconstruct this wall, I think he can be able to reach through that wall diagonally down. Because the problem with not just going in there and changing it is this has steam in there, and that steam took a lot of time to warm up, and it's just going to go everywhere if we open it. So we have to do this in a controlled manner. In the Atmos suit, of course. Deconstructing the wall. Okay, we're good. The plan from there was to keep destroying and reconstructing the tile to hopefully yeet the gas out of existence. Since the tile and the gas couldn't exist in the same tile, this was under the assumption that the gas wouldn't just move to the next closest air pocket. This proved ineffective, so I started plan B until Bert showed us a neat magic trick that still baffles me. What? How did you get in there? Bert. You can't make this up. How did he glitch in there? At this point, Bert broke my brain thoroughly and completely, so all I could muster up was one-word questions. Huh. Well, about that. Interesting. Is Bert fat chillin'? He's fat chilling outside of the fact that he has limited oxygen. So that's good, considering it's literally 175 degrees in there. I think this is actually exactly what we needed. We just needed a guy on the inside, because I think I can actually do this if I have one of my dupes inside there. So let's put the liquid vent back on. Make sure, okay, I don't want it to be made of iron. I want it to be made of gold. So now that that's hooked up, we'll put some sandstone there and there. And these are yellow alert because we do have a guy in essentially a nuclear reactor. So we want these built like pronto. I know you want to sleep, Bert, but when you go inside of a power plant, things get a little complicated. So we can deconstruct this tile now. You got this, Bert. Okay, we're gonna get you out there. Oh, he's taking a nap. I guess we can let him take a nap. not exactly the time for it. So the plan is I am actually going to get rid of some of the steam, because as you can see, it's all still overpressured in here. So I think I can solve that problem once Bert wakes up. But I need the people on the outside to build this structure so that we can section off an area and box it off so that the steam is released. So I hope that makes sense to everybody. Oh, Travaldo's scalding. Kind of funny that he's scalding and then the guy in the steam generator is waking up from a nap, not even phased. Okay, don't you dare use the toilet in there, Bert. Oh no. Everybody, please hurry up. Okay, Bert, you are almost out of the woods. Everybody's on deck doing their part to get our boy Bert out of here. We don't lose anybody in this colony. Bert, for God's sake, do not lose your bladder. Okay, we just need one more tile and then it'll be all up to Bert. Okay, is that enough? That is enough sandstone. Okay, Bert, go. So we're gonna deconstruct these tiles here. Bert, you couldn't have waited. Well, we have pea water in our steam engine, but it doesn't seem to be malfunctioning yet, so let's let the steam get equalized between all this area. So now that I think we have a good chunk of steam, let's build this shut. And with this, we have sectioned off an area. So let's see if this gets overpressured now. I think through Bert's dumb logic, he actually fixed the problem in the best way possible. And if we watch, we can see that the aqua tuner is actually going down in temperature instead of going up continuously like it was. We're releasing the steam out. Oh geez, that is a ton of hot energy going out. Okay, let's let Bert get out of there. He's done a good job and he deserves to not be in imminent danger of death. Oh, and you can take that suit off. There you go, bud. Oh, so there wasn't polluted water in the steam turbine. It was in his suit the whole time. Well, that makes things worse. Bert wasn't the hero we needed, but the hero we deserved. Cleaning up his mess is the least we can do. The next 32 cycles were spent perfecting the natural gas generator setup and making use of the water from this other cool steam vent by making a grand water reservoir to store the water for the base. Of course, the process was extremely sketchy with no safety precautions by estimating the size of the tank required and releasing the floodgates with no safety precautions. The water level kept going up and up until I was certain it would overflow, but it actually worked perfectly, with the steam vent completely drained and not a single drop overflowed. I've made a few more modifications to the water reservoir, being mainly that the Weaswort got moved over here because this water is a little warm, and hopefully it'll cool it down a little bit. But aside from that, let me explain why this is here and how it works, because there's been a lot of progress. So naturally we should start at the natural gas generators. So starting from the very beginning, we have the natural gas geyser, which is harnessed with the gas pump taking in the gases that build up within our enclosed container that is also insulated. Those gases are taken out, stored inside of these reservoirs for gas. This part over here is purely because I did not manage the gas properly when hooking up, because in order to get this gas pump in here, I had to open the top. And to open the top, you let all this good oxygen in there. And oxygen is not very friendly to natural gas generators. It damages them. So this completely beautiful mess of piping. So following the pipe from our gas reservoirs down, jumping over this pipe, curling up here, goes into a filter where the oxygen is sent out through the orange arrow into the gas container. And that's good and all, but there's a slight problem that there's polluted oxygen. So we have a mix of natural gas and polluted oxygen going through the green arrow here on the bottom left. So that goes down, curls under this pipe, goes up and into this white arrow, where the filter now takes out the polluted oxygen, which goes into the reservoir as well. So then we should be left with natural gas, since our geyser over here is completely closed off to the outside environment. So the natural gas goes on down and then it feeds into the natural gas generators where you see the white arrows. And with those running, we get a ton of electricity. With this setup of 4 natural gas generators, we get 3,200 watts, 800 coming from each of them. which we are now piping into our main bus of electrical wire, which I have powering our aqua reservoir, the pump here, and I also have it in our aqua tuner / steam turbine room. And then if we follow it down to the bottom of our base here, there is also the other cool steam vent to power that pump there, because the old wiring crept to the right up this ladder here, curled along this pipe, and then went there. So that path is a lot longer than just going straight over. We also have this heavy electrical wire being fed into our base for things I will cover in a little bit. With this node alone, our base is able to be powered completely autonomous. The only thing missing is using transformers, because if we look at this wire, it has a potential load of 7.69 kilowatts and currently has 3.7 kilowatts. Most wires, if you take your dinky little small wire, it can withstand 1000 watts, while the heavy watt can withstand 20 kilowatts. So that's why we're using it to bus the electricity everywhere. But the useful large power transformer can take our heavy watt wire and reduce it down into a more manageable load, where I'm using conductive wire to power my base. So that's the electricity. But natural gas is good. You're like, oh, this is so amazing. It provides electricity, completely autonomous. What's bad about it? Well, if we hit play here, you see it is spewing out all that good old polluted water, which our liquid pump is just eating up, which is exactly why we had to have this reservoir here for the polluted water, to where it's soaked up with the liquid pump, where it's brought up to a water sieve, filtered out, and put into our clean water reservoir, where we can take that clean water, move through all the menagerie of the polluted cooling water, and power our oxygen needs. We had to do this reservoir mainly because we need to get rid of this water somehow to have it completely running. But there's another thing that outputs, which is good old carbon dioxide. So we take all that good carbon, pump it down our base, keep going down, keep going, and we're at the home of the slicksters, where we just jump over and output it in this vent to feed them all the carbon they could ever hope and desire, which they're a little short on actually right now, but we're keeping them alive. With anything in this game, there's a problem of heat, which I did think of and solve, where we have the cold water from our aqua tuner splitting off up into the natural gas generator and cooling this pump here, which is very important because it actually was overheating. So the coolant pipes being made radiant is definitely important, and you can see it flowing through, cooling down everything extremely beautifully. Honestly, this is probably the coldest place in my base. And the only last thing to cover is, what is this pipe right here? Well, aside from getting natural gas from the natural gas geyser, we also have a ton of it stored within our base. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 filled up with natural gas. So we take it out of all those containers, feed it up this piping here, and all that it takes to hook it up now is this jumper pipe. And I'm using the jumper pipe because it has higher priority than the normal pipe. So we will always be eating up our natural gas taken from our base before we take it from the vent. So now with that, you understand how the natural gas works with all the good old power generation, the liquid reservoir and why it's important. And the current problem that we have that I'll have to solve is this is getting pretty steamy in here. For some reason, water is not being output. So I might have to run a coolant pipe from the liquid reservoir into there to cool down the area, which isn't the end of the world. It's leaving at 10.4 degrees C from our base, so we can spare a few degrees. Now the only thing left to do is to harness all that good energy on the elevator main bus for electricity and use it in our base. Here's one power transformer in the Slickster hive, 2 power transformers at the bottom of our base, and one up here in the little corner where we have some manual generators and batteries to store the energy produced from all the natural gas generators. Because just in case we need a little spurt of power, we can put this and all that power is available on our main bus. So now for the transformers, we need to change all this old scraggly wire into this refined conductive wire older brother so that we can carry the 2000 watts we need throughout our entire base. There's also a slight big red problem of chlorine. I've moved the air pump over here to where it'll be vented over. Oh, and the gases are flowing in, and that is a lot of chlorine. Okay, goes through the first filter. Is it natural gas? No. Is it oxygen? No. Is it chlorine? Yes. And then it outputs the good carbon for our slicksters to eat. So I think this should be done by the time I get the metal sorted. And if you're wondering what it looks like, the sheer chaos of metal production, 2 people on a hamster wheel at all times, then this right here, we have copper ore, gold ore, iron ore, wolframite, all of it. Like, I don't care at this point what refined ore I get. Just if it's metal, I'm gonna use it. And they broke the water filter again. Wait, what? How is my sandstone tile breaking? If you look right here, I can see a little nub of natural gas. And that is definitely the culprit. There's the filters in place. I think I may have to deconstruct this insulated tile briefly. And now we can add it back in. And none of them are listening to me about fixing the sandstone. So, oh shoot, I didn't even think of this. We could be completely out of sandstone. There we go, we're mining up the sandstone. And yeah, the culprit was I was feeding it to my hatches. So let's just say they're on a sedentary rock diet now. And we are finally getting that fixed. I'm concerned why it broke, but let's not worry about it. It took quite a bit of metal, but we finally have everything set to conductive wire. So in the bottom slickster nest where we have our first transformer, that is powering our filters for oxygen, carbon, and so on, as well as the oil refinery and the polymer press down below. And then if we shoot over here, it powers our gas pumps to keep our base clean at the bottom, which if you look, we're actually doing pretty solid on. We have mostly oxygen. It may be barely breathable, but it's still oxygen. And then we have our 2 large power transformers at the bottom where they just split apart. One covers the kitchen, the other one dodges under and covers the whole left side of the base, including the water filtration, the luxury room with a jukebox that soaks up a ton of wattage, but we got to spare. And it also powers the Atmos suits, while the other one takes care of the kitchen, the water pump, science and research room, and whatever is needed to grow the plants. Then our last power transformer is here, where its entire purpose is just for the automation system to take the eggs out of the holding cell. Why are there no stone hatches? May as well wrangle up that sage hatch and the regular hatch. We'll just fill this with anything and everything and filter it back over to stone hatches once it gets filled. But on the bright side, everything's wired up, completely autonomous, and we're doing pretty good overall. Oxygen is decent, it's breathable, electricity is taken care of, temperature, we are cool as a cucumber. Ignore that hot spot there. I don't know what's going on. Water could not be any better. It is a huge mess of a ton of pipes running everywhere, but they have a purpose. The decor is fairly good, except for this nuclear wasteland of heavy watt wires that they apparently don't like. And then the entirety of the outside of our base is just no dupe wants to even touch that. So all in all, we're doing pretty good. There's just a few things that we need to touch up now, and then we can move to exploration. First of which was the cool steam vent. The steam was not condensing into water to be used for our oxygen production, so as a fix I extended our base cooling line down to the vent to make the steam liquefy in the water. The only problem was, how do you enter a room full of steam to construct the piping without releasing the steam? That jank solution was setting up 3 airlocks at the base of the cooling steam vent to allow only 2 blocks of steam to escape at one time. So it would still escape, but it would be much less than just letting the floodgates open. And once that's deconstructed, they'll build the ladders, jump up, build one more ladder, and then build our liquid pipe and our radiant pipe over the vent. Oh, and it's already cooling. Oh geez, do not go in there. Okay, Ren, let's not go in the 103 degrees room. Please move away, and we're going to enable this building again. Okay, he's moving away. Good. That could have been bad. Oh geez, we have a flood. We have a flood in the ice biome. They've been producing a ton of glass. and the temperature is definitely changed, but it's still cool enough. Our water is actually fuller than it was previously. The pipes are hooked up. Temperature is starting to go down, so we need to close this off real fast. Wall is finally being built. Took a few trips for them, and through all this effort, the temperature is not too bad. It was, yeah, we contained that fairly good. It's 69 degrees up here, and it's only warm within the realms of the door. Oh yeah, that's filling up with water real nice. So the water problem in the south has finally been solved. So now I think to be fully autonomous and have a functioning base, I don't have to worry about killing over oxygen. This is an archaic system that works through physics, but isn't the best. So let's deconstruct the attempt at a second industrial district, and in its place borrow an oxygen generator design from Juicy Fungus, because I want to build to actually work instead of builds that barely pass as functional. So we have the gas pumps on the bottom, electrolyzers on top, and the same theory as I have going over here. Hydrogen rises up, and this pump sucks in all the hydrogen, and all the ones on the bottom take the oxygen, and they should be taken out of 3 different outlet pipes. So the one on the far right will be to fuel our atmosuits, and the other 2 outputs will distribute the oxygen in our vertical column here and our other vertical column here. I figured I'd wait to ignite it with you guys. It's currently filled with a bunch of gas that isn't what we want, so we're going to hook up vents to all the 3 outputs. As you can see, the polluted oxygen is getting taken out. Now here comes the other one, taking out all the bad gases. The whole atmosphere should get bled out and replaced with pure oxygen and hydrogen at the top. The hydrogen pumps on the top, I forgot to say those. This is also self-powered, so it's actually gaining power from having the oxygen produced. The system still wasn't working, but it was a quite easy fix, being the water was not hooked up. Oh, and don't ask me what the automation is doing. I know vaguely, but just trust that it works. So I believe we just need to get enough hydrogen built up where it makes a thin layer on the top, because I did not think we were doing this bad on oxygen. I sure hope this works. Yikes. I like what we see. This one's continuously going now. Okay, there's still some polluted oxygen, but that's alright. My crew is doing their best to keep these all healed up. And I also have a cooling pipe going through to keep this room nice and ice cold. The pumps proceeded to not work, so I thought we were running out of time. Oxygen was depleting. So against my better judgment, I played with the automation grid and toggled the Atmos sensor to above instead of below. And miraculously, it worked. I don't know about you, but that looks like it's working pretty dang good. Holy cow, that is a bunch of oxygen. I only see a pure stream of hydrogen coming through. I'd say we're on to a winner. Let me hook up these pipes correctly. So here's our old, kind of congested, very simple ventilation system, which just tried to use air from top goes to bottom. That is not breathable oxygen. So now, instead, a little more like this. So, like I said, this one outlet here carries the oxygen to the left column of our base to where it can distribute it beautifully. You can see it getting a little bit darker blue. Right side is already doing its thing. And our suits are even being charged up with oxygen as well. And yet, there's another problem. Our water here is out. But our water solution up here has another problem. The water is very steamy. So whenever it gets piped up here from the oxygen production down to the bottom of our base where it would be input into our water area. And you can see the trace amounts of what that did. Also how these plants are now not sustainable in the current temperature. The temperature of the water was really good at heating up the base. And I also had a little bit of a hatch kerfuffle where not all of the ranches were filled to the max capacity of 7. You see some babies in there and here. So we are running dangerously low on food. We are at 73k. So food will be tough for the next 5 cycles, and Bert's apparently stressed. Soggy feet and chilly surroundings. I don't know where he's getting chilly surroundings from. That looks pretty Gucci to me. What's his fear response? He is a binge eater. That is not good. We'll put the massage table in there. That looks like a good spot. We do not want him eating what little food we have. You may see that we actually have a bunch of people jogging, keeping the power going at our base. And that would be because natural gas is not the most self-sustaining. Okay, massage table is up. Liam is chilling out. He is fairly stressed. What's his fear response? He is a vomiter. I am sorry, Liam. A binge eater is more of a concern. Bert, where are you at? I need to monitor Bert's situation. I want you to use that. There we go. I want to see your stress just go away. Vamoose. No more. Oxygen? It's breathable. Temperature? Oh yeah, you're pretty good right there. There's nothing to worry about. So I'm not too crazy concerned about the water, as long as there's enough for all of the restrooms to function. I've halted science, because we've essentially researched everything, up until the point where we need an extra layer of science, whatever the orange one. So the only reason why we're depleting water is our crops, which I guess is a good reason to get water back up and running. Okay, quick solution. So from our aqua tuner output, we will take a line going up the side of our water reservoir, cutting through with a bunch of radiant pipe to cool it down. And then with the rest of the insulated pipe, we'll just weave to the bottom and cut over this way. Ooh, Rowan's even going out to save the day. My man. Gotta love the boy Rowan. He knows what's gotta get done and gets it done. Ooh, Bert is down to 82 stress. Now Ashcan is our problem. And I did get rid of the Atmos suits at the top of the base because I just want to move laterally and upwards on the two columns. I think having a vertical one, I already have it going on the left side to a massive extent. So the upper one wasn't necessary. And I can also just dig a little something like that. And our right side is doing exactly what the top side was doing. Last pipes are going in. Do I like what I see? There's no immediate temperature difference, but the water coming out, and that's in the pipes, is going to be around 11 degrees. So that should put a dent in the temperature of water. So right now we're sitting at 55.1 degrees C, and I expect to see that lower quite a bit. So apparently I wasn't allowing them to eat muck root. Muck root is on the menu, guys. It is our saving grace, hopefully. Okay, nobody is starving anymore, and stress is down to 65%. And on the brighter side, I actually managed to wrangle some puffs and brought them into the lower stables of my area. I honestly don't know what they eat. Polluted oxygen, chlorine gas, and oxygen. Well, they can eat the oxygen. That works for me. Ooh, oxygen's looking pretty crisp now. I do like to see that. The reason why I got the puffs in here is because they excrete slime, bleach stone, and oxalate, which those are all real good. Bleach stone fuels the geotuner, which gives us more water over here, which you see is working beautifully. Our cooling is making the steam cool enough to where it trickles on down. Slime is fed to our nifty sage hatches, and the oxalate, that just releases oxygen back into the air. So all around, they're a pretty good mob to have in here. We should have cooling up and running, and the water temperature has already dropped to 54.6. The problem with this setup was my base was getting overheated due to the heat getting removed from the water reservoir and dumped into my base, since it was all on the same cooling line. This was temporarily solved by disconnecting my base and having just the water reservoir cooled. Then the natural gas vent room filter system was removed because all the non-natural gases stuck in the vent room were now all removed. The reservoir cooling wasn't happening fast enough, so I stored all my ice over it, dumped it in, and hoped it would cool it rapidly. My base's food supply of bristleberries were struggling also, so I tapped the polluted water supply to be pumped, cleaned, and distributed to my base. Then I found the puffed in a very unfortunate situation. You doing alright down there, bud? You look under a little pressure. How old is he? I was wondering about that. He has been here the entire time, and I keep looking over at him. Like, is he gone? But apparently he ages at 1 second per cycle. How fast do they usually age? This guy's aging at 1 second per cycle. This guy's been here for a hot second, that's all I'm saying. But anyway, that is not what we shall be doing. Oh, and we got to 1 year and a quarter cycle. I'm proud of us. We actually survived. Well, for that duration of time. But aside from surviving, we are about to be thriving with the water pouring in. Ice is not cooling down very fast at all. Same with the water. Judging by the temperature of the base, yellow is not good at all. So Operation Ice was completely a bust. We only decreased the temperature by 10 degrees and I need my cooling system back. So we'll just tear down the system that we thought would work and rehook up the system that is working. We should see the cool times return to our base. Ah, geez, that's actually kind of bright, it all being yellow. And I have a better idea for how to take care of the water. If you guessed another aqua tuner heat dissipator, then you are exactly correct. I'm going to redirect the hot water coming from this steam vent. I'm going to dig a hole through here, which is why I consolidated all the water down here. Pipe the hot water to connect to this, jump over a bridge, cool it down, cool the steam turbine down, go up here and get put into the liquid reservoir. And the same thing's happening to this guy up here for the other steam vent. So it gets pumped down, jumps over, and then it also goes and to be cooled down. And the next thing to do is to put a liquid pump in here to have the cycle continue so that this body of liquid keeps getting cooler. If you're very astute and notice, food is not good at all. I think it's because if you look at this pipe here, 33 degrees C is what's entering as, and then it's leaving at 40 degrees. Approximately 6 or 7 degree increase. And we cannot afford that because we need our base to be cooled in this ginormous cooling loop. And that's a problem because our plants are not growing at all. The aqua tuner can only decrease the temperature by 14 degrees, I believe. So if our steam vent is soaking up 7 degrees of that, we are not sustainable. So instead, I'm just going to put 2 cute little radiant pipes, destroy the rest. Oh, who's scalding? You'll get over it. Oh, shoot. Yeah, I actually need to cancel all those. Because all of this is polluted water, not something we want in our clean water supply. Oh, well, we got polluted water in that supply. That's not the end of the world. Because all that this clean water was going to was our oxygen generators. So I hope it doesn't damage them. Because if it does, Meemaw, be careful. The steam is erupting. How bad is it for their health? It's not immediate death, so that's good. And don't ask me what this bubble here is doing. I have the air filters on both sides, and apparently that's just not enough for them. But the oxygen is staying on our side of it, because it's acting as an airlock, the bubble there. So I'm just going to leave that there and assume that it keeps working. Oh, Bert has moderate wounds. Finish your job. There you go, bud. See, even Ashcan's helping you out. Travaldo, the doctor farmer. And all he uses is the thermometer. What a guy. Oh, shoot. Meemaw, I don't think I should be letting you in here anymore. Your health is... Okay, Meemaw, get out of there. Get out of there. Oh, shoot. Somebody save Meemaw? Okay. She is overheated. Let's move her to the bottom of our drinking water. Is anybody coming to help her? Okay, we have a crisis on our hands. Meemaw is scalding and holding her breath. How do I need her to move. Can she move herself? Okay, you need to get out there and help Meemaw. Actually, essentially everybody's got to get out there and help Meemaw. Anybody and everybody who is capable. Lyra, you're also going out there. Okay, we have the squad rolling up, going to save Meemaw. Okay. Wait, what? How are we supposed to move them? I have a plan. Triage cot. Bert, you are no longer assigned. Meemaw, you are assigned. You get back down there, May. Help Meemaw. Oh. What? What the? Meemaw? What is going on? She is levitating and possessed. Oh, she's alright. What? How? Okay, you can catch your breath, Meemaw. Are you alright? You had me concerned there. I'm pretty sure you're possessed, and that's the only way you're alive. Everybody is looking a little worse for her. Lyra has a broken arm, it looks like. Stinky is a little overheated. Ashcan is just Ashcan, so that's already a problem. So it turns out going into a steam room is kind of dangerous. Travaldo, are you the legend to seal up the crypt of the steam hell? He is the legend. That is closed off beautifully. Oh, shoot, Mima, are you gonna be alright? Is her health still going down? She was close to being gone. You take a few days off. And there's our first smooth hatchling egg. That is really good. Basically, you feed them raw ore, and they give you refined ore. And it is also an achievement that we need to get. Down the hatch. Ooh, look at that. Our fan is also doing its thing. Looks like temperature is cooling down a little bit. We have a few plants growing that will keep us barely alive. So back to the smooth hatchling egg. Let's move that guy to a new holding cell of its complete own. And may as well prime the food container. And may as well feed it iron ore, since iron has to be smelted into the smooth variant and then smelted again to make the steel. So this way it'll just have to be refined once. Oh geez, food got even worse somehow. I'm sorry, little ones. The colony is not doing the best, and you're the first person to solve that problem. Don't let them eat that. No, that meat's ours. Nope, yellow alert, this little guy's gotta die. I do not like sage hatches. No, don't do it, stone hatch. There's a little extra food on the table. The pipes have been flowing for a little bit now. I still don't like the look of that. Let's see what it's doing. It goes in at 33 and comes out at 35. So that's only maybe a little bit more. But I think having only these two nubs should be enough to cool the water as you see it dripping down there, and also not completely destroy our cooling loop. The lower water is now hooked up at a balmy 71 degrees sea water. Aqua tuner is now built. We need to quickly close this guy up and get that steam turbine in. Oh geez, and food is even worse. We are at 5,000 now. We're not in danger. There we go. Get that fan going. That is what we like to see. And if you're wondering about the water in our base, it is back to full, so that is good, and we can deconstruct our temporary pump. And here is our system working beautifully well. Our lower steam vent goes, weaves up, meets up with the other one, is output here, which is currently locked due to the sensor, while we have another liquid valve which is fed by this pump down here, going, feeding the water into the aqua tuner, where it starts at 59.7 and goes out, well, what should be a lower temperature but isn't, because power is not on our side because everybody's sleeping, and natural gas is not very reliable because the next activity is in 14.1 cycles. So now that everybody's awake and pumping their hamster wheels like a good little colonist, is being input at 59.4 and output at 45.4, which is a beautiful cooling factor, cools down the steam turbine and goes back up to be deposited. So right now we're sitting at 60.8 degrees. So hypothetically this should all eventually equalize out. And some other good news is now being output at 21.7 degrees from our old aqua tuner. So our base should be providing some cooling. Oh yeah, see that little bits of dark green right there? That is hope. Ooh, and we actually have some of the bristle blossom growing here. And food isn't down in the thousands. It's up in the 25,000s now. So this fix actually did work here. Oh, and you remember the polluted water that leaked inside the steam vent? It did in fact cause a problem. The electrolyzers broke and the polluted water flooded the entire oxygen generator, which caused the atmosuits to break, but it was an easy fix. Oh, there's a different puff in town. We got a dense pufflet, so he's probably not the smartest. He only drops oxalite. That's not awful. It's not very good, but he's fine just chilling there. The next thing to do is solve power. Because currently we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of our dupes powering this place. And they could be better spent doing other tasks. So here's our solution to solving our energy problems. We have hatches. We've had them for a long time, since day one. They poop out coal. Now, you may be wondering, how much coal do we have? 672 tons, and it's time to use it. So, I'm going to add some coal generators next to the hatch stables to produce the power. I was short on resources to build the generators, so I did a ton of mining all over the map for gold and iron ore. While doing that, I found some neutronium platforms, which means I discovered some more vents or geysers that could be useful. They just had to be uncovered. And when I say I did a lot of mining, I mean a lot of mining. Like stripping the earth of everything, leaving only open air. Not necessarily breathable air, because Mima also suffocated. Almost. Again. Wait, how are two of them stuck in there? This little bubble from earlier? Okay, so I'm going with he lays an egg, it falls right down there, and then their offspring grow up, and this is their life. Oh my. That is exactly the look I would have if that was what I was born into. That has to be left there at all costs. That is hilarious. We uncovered a volcano, which seemed a little dangerous at the time, considering it could erupt at any moment, but it was also potentially useful as an infinite igneous rock generator to feed the stone hatches. So I set Rowan on researching it in hopes he would stay safe. I also attempted to connect my main bus of electricity to the left side of my base, which almost resulted in the airlock pool being contaminated, but having the dupes frantically mop up as Camille dug a hole on the other side to drain the polluted water solved the crisis. The room for the coal generators was constructed with a pump to remove the carbon dioxide and send it to the slickster tables, along with a battery and automation wire to efficiently manage the generators to kick on and off to optimize the power production. A carbon dioxide geyser was discovered, which at the time was not the most useful, so it was blocked up at the moment to prevent carbon dioxide leaks that would upset the ecological balance. Not like the massive quarries I made on the left and right side of my base to get enough metal aren't hurting the environment. Another brain in a jar was discovered, so I volunteered Mima as a sacrifice for the experiment, and she got the beefsteak trait, which gives her some additional strength, which, funny enough, made the oldest dupe in the colony also the strongest. It does make sense though. The number of times she's nearly died proves that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Wait, hold up. Camille, what? Something's very wrong with her. Oh, she has her suit on. Okay, she was suffocating. I knew something was up with her. This does not look good. Rowan, do I need to get you out of there? This volcano looks like it's about to blow. I'm concerned for your health, Rowan. I'm just gonna hope that he turns out alright over there. Looks like everything's mopped up from the polluted water spill. And it looks like this mining task has already been carried out as well. Oh, scalding. Of course it was Rowan! Rowan, get out of there! You do not want to be in there. Okay, Rowan, we are putting you inside of the infirmary. Oh my lord, Rowan. How hot is he? He is perilously hot at 413 degrees C. Okay, I have an idea. He does not need to go to the infirmary. That bed is not going to help him. He needs a freaking ice bath. I'm hoping we can save you. If you die, I don't know what. Okay, run, Rowan, run! Oh, gee. Okay, good man, washing his hands. He's got his priorities. Now, for God's sake, cool down. Okay, he's going through the door, under the water. What's his temperature now from all this running? He's gone from scalding to heat stroke. You know, I consider that a win, you know? He's in the frozen biome. He is cooled down. I guess that wasn't necessary, but he is going straight to bed. But he's a freaking unit. He was swimming in the lava. He's sopping wet, has heat stroke and yucky lungs, but he is alive. He was really close to finishing the research though. If Rowan's up to it, I think we have time to possibly finish the research on this. Rowan's up for it. Can we get the research done in time is the question. Rowan sure thinks we can. He is scalding, but he is a professional. A man of focus and sheer will. Oh, it is shaking more violently. Why am I putting Rowan in this situation? Okay, that's enough for today, Rowan. Back to the med bay. But I am actually going to enable this building because I think the Atmos suits should protect them. So now with him putting on the Atmos suit, I imagine... Oh, Rowan finished the research. Freaking unit. with severe wounds. So since I don't think I can do anything with it soon, I'm going to cap it off to try to localize its effect on the environment. Oh yeah, our base is looking fairly decent with temperature as well, especially considering our crops are almost full production again. Now as for the coal, they're already chugging away, producing power. But my idea, let's put this shipping sweeper down along with a conveyor chute. And now we need a conveyor rail. We have 14,000 gold amalgam, which is very good. And what I'm going to do is set up some conveyor loaders in each of the hatch areas so that they can spit out their coal and then it can be shipped to where it's needed, which will be the coal room. And it'll just be dropped on the floor, and this sweeper should hypothetically be able to refuel them. Just gotta hook up all these rails. And while they build that, I can set up this automation network here with the cord connecting to all those. And I want it to have a threshold of 90. They'll stop at 90 and we'll kick on whenever the threshold decreases to 40. Oh, the smooth hatch has hatched. Let's go. That's a cute little guy. Now, speaking of power generation, I do not need these wheels up where I used to have my oxygen generation anymore because all these are connected to the main bus, and I have 4 hamster wheels down here set to the max priority of 9. So hypothetically 4 should be enough for manpower. So you yeet the batteries to get the refined metal back and the hamster wheels. And we have some free real estate to do some stuff with. Same thing with these power cells over here. They were used mainly to fuel my metal refinery. Being connected to the main bus, as soon as we get power up and running, it should be self-sufficient and not need these. The only non-universal hamster wheel that I will keep is this one over here, because it fuels my automation system, which means I need to put wires down. Because yeah, the automation system doesn't require much draw, so it can be self-powering, while also, if we follow the line, it is fed by the main network as well. So while May builds up the automation, I will be setting it to inserting coal. Okay, so this sweeper is now putting the coal in. This conveyor line is stupid backed up. That is what you want to see. Now this guy should be able to pick up things on the ground and feed them. Oh, it's picking it up. Okay, that's what we like to see. It's working. It is actually working. Let's turn on the gas pump in here because this is now completely autonomous, and also put in the wall. So that's enclosed and the gas can be completely carbon and be carried down to where it rightfully belongs. So this is netting us 1800 watts of continuous power. 1800 plus these 3 guys always being on there, which gives us another 1200. So we have 3000 kilowatts produced there. And let's just say 800 since not all of them are always running. It's nice that we have a diversity of power supplies. Well, you just saw it. There's that guy doing his thing. Exactly what I thought. He eats his stuff and then his waste is the iron. So I think he ate 100 kilograms and output 75.5. So it is worse than this machine, but it doesn't heat up the water and is fairly autonomous where I don't have to worry about my dupes carrying out anything. Pumps have been disconnected, so you see a mixture of polluted oxygen and carbon coming from our carbon generation up here. So the oxygen should eventually be completely depleted, so I won't have to worry about filtering it. But until then, I have it getting run down here, going through 4 filters to take out the natural gas, the chlorine, the polluted oxygen, and the regular oxygen. Chlorine goes in here, natural gas gets sent up to the generators, polluted oxygen goes out, and the carbon dioxide gets dispensed into the slickster home. But I see natural gas building up. I'm going to put a gas pump right here so that we can essentially filter out the natural gas that finds its way down here. There we go. Now we're running to full capacity. So you see polluted oxygen gets taken out, carbon gets sent there, and we should see more and more carbon getting in the mix. since it's a closed system. Oh, what happened here? Oh, I know how. You remember all that ice we had in here? Well, it apparently melted. And our water is 38.2 degrees. That is real good. So between our aqua tuner and the ice, this water is almost perfect. Well, now that everything's actually going extremely good, I'm going to do a bit of grinding. New changes have been made, and it was adding our refining operations to the interior base. So we have our metal refinery hooked up where we used to have our oxygen generation, a bleach stone hopper, which can be used to make bleach stone for the geotuner to activate the steam vents. And then we have a kiln for refined carbon and ceramic, which is used to make steel. And then the last ingredient for steel is making lime, which is made in the rock crusher. And the main reason for having these added up here was because our heating is doing a crazy good job. So by putting these hot buildings here that each produce about 16 units of heat, it should hopefully equalize the base out because we are looking cool as a cucumber. And I'm so confident that'll work, that'll deconstruct the old versions that we have in the frozen biome, which I'm actually heating up quite a bit. And this system is also completely automated with the auto sweeper taking from the storage bin where the raw resources are being stored. And all that it took to hook it up was a little bit of piping. So we have the cold water from the water reservoir getting pumped over, going into our refinery, and then going out back to the output in this new liquid vent. And the liquid is sitting at 27 degrees at the bottom and 31 at the top. So I think we're still doing good cooling wise. I shouldn't need any of this stuff in the cold biome anymore, aside from the glass refining, because it actually works in a really jank way that I absolutely love. So it is getting fired up, and what's hilarious is the material that comes out of the glass forge is extremely hot. And I didn't design the system correctly because this is an output, not an input for water. So it goes over here, runs into the polluted water, and it's at 1300 degrees. So it's a matter of time to where it breaks the pipe and falls to the ground. And you can see that that is a ton of heat it produces. I don't think I'll be running the metal forge in my base. That's a little too toasty. But that's been running off and on for the entirety of this world. So let's see how much we got. 3,400 kilograms is quite a bit and is exactly what we need for our next project. I'm going to disable this building. Give this cold biome a little chance to recover. I also added all the clothing buildings in here so we can make more exosuits along with more snazzy suits because I have enough reed fibers for that. And then we can also decorate those snazzy suits to be different for each of them. Also, as for this expansion, there are a lot of incubators. So one for regular hatch, stone hatch, sage hatch, smooth hatch. This one is for shine nymphs, which I've had dotted about my base. They're not in their places anymore because I moved them over here. So between the shine nymph and the glass, those are the two key elements to my next project. So I'll let you try to guess what that is. Lucky for you, I got distracted with pimping all my dupes out with the snazzy suits, so you get some extra time to guess. Apparently there was an achievement for having 8 dupes wearing unique clothes, which I just got. The most memorable outfits were Amari with a pom-pom suit, Stinky with a very masculine pink jumper, Hassan with It Ain't Much But It's Honest Work, and Travaldo with the cummerbund. The farmer, who's also a doctor, who's also a musician. He doesn't have to make sense, but he is Travaldo. All the dupes are now pimped out, and these are good because they have a radius of decor that basically boosts their environment, so it makes the dupes around them happier. And it's not doing anything for this monstrosity of beautiful industrialization. But in general, it should make things work better. You may have noticed all of the Atmos suits that I was able to get, so there are 6 on the right side port, and on the left side port there are 4. So that's 10 suits total for heading outside and being completely safe. And it looks like oxygen and electricity are working perfectly to fuel them up. I just added this one so you can see it refilling, and the other ones are perfectly fine. So with all our ducks in a row, let's do the secret project. Is what I would have done if the Drekos didn't escape during a base expansion. One fell to the bottom of the elevator, almost drowned, but Hassan saved him. Another one clipped into a wall, almost suffocated, but was saved. Then, to prevent any further issues, I detained them all by hog tying them, replaced the wall, and we now have an updated Draco stable. Now, I am actually working on the secret project, which starts with causing a huge flood. First, we gotta destroy this bottom layer down here for the incoming torrential rain, and the floodgates break loose. And we hope that this all flows where we want it to. Okay, they dug a hole there, and it's slowly filling up. I hope it doesn't mess up this guy's bubble, because he's staying imprisoned in there forever. This is generational purpose. It's filling up a little too high for my liking, so safety wall. And that is the wrong one, Travaldo. You should have started at the bottom. Okay, Stinky, is he here in time? It is. Okay, he's going to the wrong thing as well. It is filling up a little too much for my liking. Oh, Lyra, you gonna save the day? And she is here to save the day. The old piping can be deconstructed, being installed down at the bottom of this massive pool. With our new pump relocated and ready for any of our polluted water needs, we just gotta do a little bit of mopping. Amari's on the case. Liam and Lindsay showed up to help, and in no time, everybody was scurrying around doing their tasks, building ladders, and with all this newly open space we can make this beautiful room of solar panels. And you may be wondering, hey, we are underground. There is no light anywhere. And to that I say, yes. Yes, we are. But these guys put off light, and if I have these guys in the middle here, these solar panels should turn on and give us power. That's the theory, at least. And these guys are low maintenance. All they take is phosphorite as food, and we just happen to get phosphorite from our glossy Dracos, or just the normal Dracos. And I'm actually proud of how I was able to make this system work, because right now you see in here there are 3 Shine Nymph eggs. And it's harder than you think. So I had to combine the power of shipping with the power of automation. So let me explain. First, let's take our shipping network. We have 1, 2, and 3 auto sweepers. They will pick up the eggs and choose to either put it into this conveyor here or this conveyor here, and the sense of the other sweepers, this one here or this one on the bottom. So between those options, one of them takes it up here to where it gets incubated and can be sent back here once it hatches to keep our population going and infinitely. Then the other shipping path takes the egg, runs it into this little holding cell. So the thing is about these, how do you tell it to differentiate the two? Well, that's where automation comes in handy. At first, I thought, hey, let's take a signal from the incubator, because hey, there's that little icon there as an input. I ran a wire and I couldn't think of a good way. So instead, I have these critter sensors, which are very nifty. This one here basically says if the number of nymphs in here, counting the critters and the eggs, is above 7, that means we have enough nymphs in here that are reproducing. So we can give these the green signal to go and ship the little guy to the solar field. The other sensor works in the same sense to where rather if it's below 7, it gives these conveyor loaders the go to ship it to the incubator and get us a new nymph. So I'm really proud that that worked. These 3 eggs just popped in here. Oh, we're up to 4. Okay, it works. It works. I am so happy with that. Now, is this the best design? No. Is it functional? So far, maybe. So we'll let this run in the background and it should eventually come online. But while I was doing all that, you can see the population of Pacu has exploded to a stupid amount just from feeding them the spare blossom seeds. And those are being infinitely grown here with our water. So that's good. We get polluted dirt from them, the Pacu, and it can be fed to the sage hatches, which in turn give us coal, which can be sent to the coal generators, which then gives us power to run all this. So it's a complete cycle of running on itself, and it is freaking amazing. I also have a few more dots of automation. Down here, I'm storing all my sand, so they get stored here, and the sieve gets refilled automatically, so that I don't have to have a dupe constantly refilling it. Another addition is the mega natural gas storage, because I've been looking at this quite a bit. In natural gas, you know how I said it was a sustainable resource because it comes out of vent. It should be fine. Well, if you look here, the active period is 82.8 cycles every 133.7 cycles. So it's dormant over a long period of time and then non-dormant over a decent length of time. So that's why the mega storage. Natural gas is just kind of a, oh shoot, our power is low, we need a quick pick-me-up. It's not the main power supply for the colony is my goal, but it's a quick pick-me-up. And with all these storages here trickling in as we can harvest it, this is a good backup energy generation. And the last few bits of advancements that I made were I closed off the carbon geyser because, as you can see here, there's a bit of carbon. Turns out this guy spits out a ton of carbon. None of this was here until I released the beast. Not really a problem, that's mine, but the environment's. So it's capped off. If we need carbon, I have piping going to it. We have the elevator on the right side, but I also started expanding on left side going up. And you may see I found a few more vents. Here is a good old hydrogen vent, which I think we can tap and use to run the guy we found earlier, which is the anti-energy thermonullifier. It requires hydrogen gas, so we can play around with that at some point. I also found 3 more vents, the first being a saltwater geyser, which in the future can be used for water. The other 2 were polluted oxygen vents, which are useless to me, so I closed them off. Oh, and slight problem, not too worrisome. We have a ton of carbon dioxide getting pumped into our base from both the natural gas and the coal. Because somehow our slicksters died. It doesn't make sense to me either. Yeah, that's the first thing we're going to do. Let's get the slicksters back here. To get the slicksters, I had to go to where they lived and kidnap them. Only problem was the access point to it was severely neglected. The ice biome above it was constantly melting due to the heat, so it was flooded. This was a problem because I didn't want the water mixing with the crude oil, because then I would have to filter it before I could use it. To solve this issue, we had to somehow mop up the water, which was impossible because the water level was too high. The solution was digging a tunnel to spread the liquid thinner, which worked until somehow the massive oil pocket was punctured, causing my worst fears to come true. Luckily, the oil was denser, so the water and polluted water flowed to the top, allowing me to section it off, run electrical wire all the way down the elevator to be used on a pump to an outlet vent where the water level was low enough for our dupes to mop it up. This worked surprisingly good, and the oil biome was saved from the water spill. Oh! And we just produced 10 tons of metal using the smooth hatches. Nice. Back to getting the slickster and investigating this room. Essentially my goal is I'm just going to break everything loose. So we're going to break this pocket of crude oil loose along with this pocket, and then we can put a pump right down there. And then there should be our pathway to the brain. And we can add a bunch of other pathways just to mine this area out real nice and easily. And I'm making sure to leave the abyssalite, because if you see, this looks a little hot right here, 78 degrees C. Well, it can get a lot hotter at 1600. So this abyssalite is the only boundary we have between not livable and you will die. So I'll let them get to that, and I'll see you when it's all built. Okay, and exactly what we didn't want has happened. I said I would see any of it, but they literally just fell down there. So Lyra and Stinky are at the bottom of this crude oil pool. I'm not going to try and pretend and say I'm not worried, but they seem like... See, he's giving a thumbs up. He knows he's good. Up the priority of those. We just want to tell him which priority is the most. And not swimming in crude oil is probably a good thing not to do. But Lyra's going ham on finding a way out. What? Okay. She knows what she's doing. This is all part of her plan. You have to get inside the belly of the beast. She just dug a path right up through there, and Stinky just followed like, okay, I won't judge you, Lyra. If you want to go swimming in crude oil, I will not second guess you next time. So needless to say, Project Big Honkin' Oil Patch has been quite a big success. because we have all the crude oil now. And our pump is in, ready to go. So now we just gotta lead this pipe somewhere to process it. But that is a future problem, because right now I'm trying to determine who gets to use the brain. Who is one of the more useful of our colonists? Is it Camille? She's very good at digging. May, she is a master at construction. Lindsay or Lyra? Lyra for construction, Lindsay for digging as well. You know what? I feel like Lyra's time to shine, because I think she's one of our main construction people. We offer you as a sacrifice, and it's in use. Okay, it's complete. What trait did she get? Oh, she regenerates health at plus 20 per cycle. As a thanks to the brain, I destroyed his home for resources and set my sights on the next structure, which turned out to be an automation puzzle. Let's take a look at the automation network. So we have an AND gate, then we have an AND gate, and then we have an AND gate here. So if this is green and this one's green, then this door should unlock. So this is a NOT gate. So it reverses the signal. So these actually need to be off in order for it to trigger? No, this one needs to be on. And then this one needs to be off. Nailed it. That was actually pretty fun. Oh, and my automation system apparently is not working correctly. When was that set to 0? I'm pretty sure I always had that set to 7. The solar panel room was also set wrong because the nymphs were overcrowded. So honestly, I'm just going to deconstruct a piece of glass, and judging by how bright that is, I think we are producing power. And we have a massive oil lake, which is always good. Oh, I just caught sight of a slickster. Target is acquired. The whole reason we came down here and kept getting sidetracked. And it looks like Hassan is wrangling the slickster. So we're about to complete the initial goal we set out for. When he's wrangled, he looks like he's just a trash bag. Something I don't understand is as I'm moving around down here looking at all these neat things, I see this random piece of lead just sitting there in a pool of oil that I have never touched. So how do you get refined metal just naturally spawning on the ground? Just food for thought. I'm not against it, because that's useful. Oh no. I just saw something that could be real bad. You see the temperature of all these items? I'm taking all those back to my base. Oh, it's not awful. Yeah, our base can handle it. I can tell that some of them are stored in here. But you know, why would we have cooling if things weren't trying to heat up our base? From there, I set off to colonizing another cold biome for the sleet wheat. And with this last one right here, all of them are set to auto harvest, and we have our ladders snaking through the entire biome. So we should have a decent supply of food coming in, and we don't even have to try to grow it at all. And as an extra layer of safety, I want to line this area in some insulation tiles where it isn't covered with abyssalite to make sure that the cold stays in. Looks like the slickster was picked up from hell, so let's go check if he made it. Yep, our little slickster is home, so our carbon problem in our base should be being solved. And I don't know if it's just because I'm American, but having this huge lake of oil brings me a bunch of joy. I can barely even fit it in my screen. This is the most I can zoom out. Oh geez. And you see the pink hydrogen in the air? I forgot to cap off our hydrogen vent. I was having Rowan research it, and apparently I did not oh my lord. It's fine. Next, a little bit more of automation was set up in the smooth hatch stable, where the refined iron they poop out is swept up and put into a conveyor loader to the refinery in the top part of the base. I'm going to put steel on produce forever to get that grinding out, because a lot of late game items seem like they require it. And it looks like we're actually keeping up with our water production between the 1-2 steam vents. So we're looking fairly automated and good. I made progress on the left side of the base, where you see this nifty little ladder goes up and up and up until we see the surface of the moon. Oh, and you gotta be kidding me. There's literally iron sitting on the ground. That doesn't make sense to me, but we have found our way to the surface. So at any point we can start exploring up here. But I think we need to master the underneath before we move on to space. Because I think we are close to seeing it all. And if I go over to the left and then slightly up, there is not much more to explore. The first being another ice biome to harvest the sleet wheat from. Then I discovered how OP Joya cactuses were. Slickster, move out of the way. I'm not talking about you. The Joya cactus is because they're a decorative plant and they can survive in 0 to 100 degrees. So in a base, that temperature should always be reached. And if it's not, your plant dying is not your main concern. So in areas such as right here, it might be useful considering that if outside resources are taken in, you can see that they're a bit toastier. These nymphs aren't working as good as I wanted. There's a ton of them, but they aren't providing a lot of power because I believe this bar actually lights up and currently I don't even see the bar. So this may have been a bust, but I don't know, it's a quirky part of the base. Doesn't have to work. Then we discovered another anti-entropy nullifier in the ice biome we just set up, which is closer to the hydrogen vent than the other two ice biomes, so I think this is the prime location for testing it when the time comes. I also mined all the wolframite I could find in cold biomes because it can be used to make thermium, which in the late game is useful for buildings due to its higher melting point, so it can be used in hostile environments such as volcanoes or the vacuum of space. But something that I did notice that's off about this biome is that the abyssite just kind of pieced out. And there's a huge chunk missing. So you can see where there's a swamp biome that usually would be warm, it is freezing cold. To preserve this biome is to put up an insulating wall to keep all the good cold temperature in. Ooh, would you look at that? We found another volcano, which I am going to cover up and deny that even exists. As my next act of heroism, definitely not fueled by my oil desires, I set out to save the 3 final slicksters in the oil biome, doomed to certain death either because they were in a complete vacuum or could drown in their own oil they produced. There he is wrangled. Now I just need to make sure they get brought back safely. Oh, this one is drowning. Who is the nearest savior? Is it going to be Ren? Ren is on his way. He hears the beckoning call of a slickster in danger. And he says, not today. I want to wrangle this one. Oh, well, he won't be joining us. I guess we can at least take his meat. Well, if we get this one back home safely, that'll be 2 out of 3. Not too terrible odds. As for the slicksters in my base, I finally figured out how they all died. The neat thing about slicksters is they reproduce based on their body temperature. So at temperatures above 60, you get a normal slickster egg. And at temperatures below 60, you get a long-haired slickster, which breathes oxygen and doesn't make oil. We eat those in this hole. So my theory on how the slicksters all disappeared is their body temperature dropped. They were replaced entirely with long-haired variants who suffocated in the carbon atmosphere, and you have no slicksters. To prevent that, let's add a space heater to keep the room warm at the low cost of 120 watts. As if harvesting 4 ice biomes wasn't enough, I adopted yet another one that was damaged by my hydrogen spill instant, so I slapped some airlocks at the entrance to prevent further damage and called it good. Okay, and just like that, our protective wall is in, so it should be sectioned off from the outside world. So it's -5 on the inside and 5 degrees on the outside. We have secured another ice biome. Found yet another vent, this time being a natural gas one I could use for power. So I set it up to connect directly to the already operating natural gas generators. Low ventilation there. I can actually connect up to this line, which is the line from inside my base. And I don't think that took too much of my igneous rock. And oh, so more heavy watt wire. I'm going to be surprised if I have any gold left from this endeavor. Oh no, it keeps getting lower and lower. Oh, we had 800 to spare. Then we found one more slickster to save, but there was no time to spare. He was currently drowning and we had not attempted to save him at all. Time was not on our side. My dupes tore through the ground, stopping at nothing to try to save him. And we were too late. The natural gas enclosure had a mixture of gases, so I initially was bleeding the vent lines directly into the environment, but the conservationist in me took over and I set up a filtration system to store the non-natural gases. The metal refinery in my base decided to spring a leak, so I slapped a band-aid on it in the form of a ceramic pipe, which could withstand a higher temperature. The leak led all the way to the bottom of my base, so I bashed out a wall to drain it. Yeah, we're sitting at 7.5 tons of steel. I'd say we're good for a hot second. This break would take a lot longer than a second to fix. I finally realized the leak was happening because the water was at 104 degrees. So I think you can see the problem now. Water isn't quite liquid at 104 degrees, so a pipe meant for liquid is not going to play too well with steam. This problem originated because the water reservoir was to a hot, steamy 50 degrees. So the metal refinery was heating the water faster than our cooling loop could cool it. So I turned it off for the time being. Then I discovered a carbon dioxide geyser in the oil fields, low-key useless, and managed to save one final slickster, which put an end to the slickster crusade, mostly because there weren't any more to steal and monopolize for oil production. Weird new development also, we have a new friend, a shovel. I never accepted from the printing pod. So either A, the printing pod just gave it to me for some reason, or us discovering the surface of the moon, it dug all the way down to our base, popped in, said hello, it's been groomed. So Hassan was literally just like, you know, wild animal, you're my friend now. And he also blocked the door, so he may be a problem. To prevent him from burrowing through my base and blocking all the doors, I made a metal platform he can't tunnel through that was isolated from my base completely. I also got the achievement for discovering 80% of the map, which means we've conquered the majority of our asteroids. So next time, we'll be able to expand into space. But that brings us to the end of our 500-day adventure. Apparently day 497 to 500 wasn't that interesting, since the next day I have recorded is 508. I think all I did was conquer more icebounds for the sleet wheat. But thank you everyone for joining me today and enjoying this 250-day adventure. If you made it this far in the video, you should probably subscribe to not miss any of my other interesting videos. This adventure is not yet over. For this world, we'll still have 500 more cycles and a bunch more achievements to get. So on a final note, here's what to look forward to next time. And Amari is in the crude pit. Oh shoot, and Ren doesn't have a way out of there. What a guy. Travalo's saving the day. Devin is fat chillin' sleeping there. Oh no. Yep, there's a meteor. Oh, that is a big meteor coming down. How bad is this about to be? Oh no, and what are they doing out here? I forgot they were out here. Guess who I found? Our boy Otto from our first attempt. I did find something interesting. Right here, a molten larva egg. Our leaky oil fixture is extremely hot.